North Carolina has fallen so far that this would only be a quad two for Duke if they are to win this game. Again, 16. The North Carolina brand, Kevin, has continued to suffer week after week after week. Should we expect a competitive one in this one, or what do we think?
I mean, the thing that's probably most concerning to me about Carolina is that the trend is down, not up. Right? Like, I think you give a lot of teams grace early in the year to try to figure things out. I think Carolina in particular, as they tried to navigate, some of these new lineups, getting these bigs up to speed. Instead, they've been bad lately, and they've been bad in close games. They've been bad down the stretch of games. Not good signs of a well-coached team. That being said, I think this is one of the only rivalries in college basketball where I truly believe records go out the window. I don't say that often. I think that's probably the most overused phrase, pun, whatever it is, in sports. I think in this rivalry, things do change a little bit just because the energy is so high, and I think Carolina has the talent to hang in. I do believe that they can do some stuff that causes some problems for Duke. I'm curious to see how Duke handles a team with multiple guards and go create their own shot and get into the paint. I think that'll be an interesting challenge for a Duke team that likes to play these bigger guards. We'll see what happens with RJ. See if Cadeau can get into the paint. But it's going to take a out of shell performance from Carolina to even be in this game. They may not win it even if they play their best game of the season, but they just have to be so much better than they've been for the first 2.5 months.
Yeah, Jarrell, do you share Kevin's sentiment that this one's got a chance to be competitive and be close?
I would find it hard to believe. But again, I do agree with Sweeney in this regard. This is the cream of the crop as far as rivalries in college basketball, and I do think it's a healthy hatred between the two. Whereas like you can kind of throw the record book out. It's the Ohio State Michigan of college basketball, so it doesn't really matter. Like I would have bet $1,000 that Ohio State won by 2 touchdowns this year, and it didn't happen. Like you got to throw the record book out. But at the same time, I just don't see how they're gonna be able to match up with Duke's size. I don't think the smaller. I agree with you, Sweeney. I think the smaller guards and how dynamic some of those guys are will create some difficult challenges for Duke trying to guard them on the perimeter. But I just don't see those guys being able to consistently punish at the rim. I think Duke is probably gonna murder them on the glass because they're so much bigger and they got so many just positionally at every position for the most part. So I think it's gonna be an uphill climb. But I will say this: I think that Hubert Davis kind of has an opportunity in my eyes, and this is just me. Like if I'm him and if I'm in this guy's shoes, you got opportunity in my eyes to kind of show your coaching chops because I would throw everything I can possibly think of at Duke to try to throw them off and keep this game so we have a chance to steal it at the end. And if that means going zone or doing something crazy, the way you guard Flagg and forcing some of these other guys who haven't been playing great to beat you, whatever it is, just as a coach, like, because you're at a point now, everybody's pressing the panic button. It's like, man, I gotta beat Duke one of these 2 times we play this year if I want to have a viable shot at kind of keeping my job or cooling my hot seat off some. So if I'm him, I'm throwing everything in the book at him. It might be a box and one. We might go 2-3 different zones we got to put in because I know player for player, I'm probably a little bit overmatched. We can't just come out here and play it straight up and expect good results with the roster makeup the way it is. So, man, why not try to muck the game up and junk it up a little bit? You know what I mean? It's like, knuckleball picture or something, man. Come in, somebody throwing that thing like 40, 50 miles an hour and just, try to muck the game up some, keep it close. And then the rivalry is strong enough and it'd be enough pressure on both sides where it's like, if you keep it close down the stretch, then anything can happen. So, and UNC does have talented enough players to make those plays. RJ Davis is still one of the best players in the country. And, Ian Jackson, has been playing great as well, too, down the stretch. And Cadeau is a wizard with his passing and getting in the paint and things like that too. So not that interesting of a matchup, but I think it could be close if they're able to throw some stuff at them and muck the game up some.
It would be a great time to get, a 2024 performance from R.J. Davis. And I want to come back to you for that, Jarrell, because look, we've diagnosed North Carolina's problems 15 different ways from Sunday, right? And there are a lot of them. But I do think one of them is the fact that you're not getting that version of R.J. Davis this year. Like, his numbers are down across the board. He's taking fewer shots, which is a little mystifying to me. I mean, this is a consensus first-team All-American. This isn't a guy that kind of squeaked in. I mean, this is a guy that was on that first-team consensus. Is there something different about him? Is it the team construction? Like, what do you think is the explanation for why his production is just down?
Well, I'll give you my theory on it, and it's definitely more team related, but it's also the same. It's pretty much the same theory that I have for why Carolina's struggling this year in general. Is that okay? So the biggest thing is that you take away Baycott from last year. You had inside, outside, and now you're just adding guards. Like, they got a ton of guards. The thing that bothers me is two things with that. It's like, you can still win with a good guard play in college. I don't love the fact that all of those guys are of smaller stature. And it's not just saying, okay, you got to have guards, they got to be big guards. No, but the reason I'm saying is that it's because all of these guys, for the most part, have a hard time guarding. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not guys outside of, Trimble that can hold up consistently defensively on another high level or elite guard. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have some tough matchups. Like, Knipple's going to be able to post any of those guards up if he wants to tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's definitely roster construction. RJ knew the ball was going to be on his hands when it was in the perimeter. I think it's a level of that where the ball has had to come out of his hands a little bit more and him playing off the ball more because, number one, you got Cadeau out there who kind of kills the spacing if he's not able to make shots early on. And then Jackson has come on of late and kind of gave him a little bit of juice and just like a little bit of buzz that they needed. But he's another guy who needs the ball in his hand. These aren't guys where you could just stick them in the corner and say spot up or, when I start driving, make a backdoor cut. Like, these aren't those type of guards. All of these guys need the ball in their hands. So I think that's a major part. Like, it's not going to be easy for RJ Davis. He's still putting up numbers, but it's come a lot tougher this year because of the spacing and things like that. So